Hi, good morning. This is Kim with www.embody-light.com. And I live by an airport, so you are probably hearing a plane going by. I'm just looking at my sound. Turn that up a little and the brightness. Okay, so I realize I have not made a video for over 6 months, and before that I was working a lot, so I wasn't making a lot of videos. But I went back yesterday and looked at where I left off because I was starting a project at a time my life kind of fell apart. Not my life, somebody else's that I had to help with. Um, so where I had left off, I had made some sound recording videos with the chakra pairs, because our chakras are energy vortexes. They take in and metabolize energy from the universal source, and our chakras work together to the number 8. So your crown's going to work with your root chakra, and your third eye is going to work with your sacral chakra, your throat with your solar plex chakra, and then your heart pairs with your higher heart. So it's got a lot to do with how we're creating our reality, these videos I'll be making. So I will go back and start where I left off, and I'll be doing that shortly. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about, I ended up in a situation where a person that is very, well, I would say mentally and emotionally, developmentally delayed. And this person had lived with her mother all her life, who took care of her, but not very well. As I found out after I got into this girl was that close to being homeless. And luckily, everything worked out okay. But it was a really unique set of circumstances how everything worked out, and everything was just divinely guided. Because when you're in your life purpose, doing something that spirit or source wants you to do, all of the details are provided for you. And so this was a big financial ordeal in addition to just a housing and environment ordeal. So the mother was no longer able to take care of her. But when I got in there and started helping her, I found out the mother was actually financially exploiting her pretty badly, and other things. So it was an ordeal, and finally things have settled down, and I have some time now to get back into my world. So one of the things I will come back and start making more consciousness videos, but one of the things I was going to share with you today is, because I like to do a lot of gardening, cooking with organic and heirloom foods is just wonderful. We have a large garden, and I do a lot of canning and fermenting and stuff. It's going to get really busy this time of year now because the vegetables are starting to come in. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is, your gut health is so important, and your nutrition is so important. Your gut is your intuition, and if you're blocked, not clear there, it can happen for several reasons. Being disempowered is one of them. But if you're not clear there, your intuition is how you talk to the Creator. That's how it starts. And so it's really super important to have nutritious foods. We're in an ascension timeline here. And I know people have, just watching other channels and stuff, people are asking, and I don't know when it's going to be, nobody does. But they're asking, different questions. Well, how will this be? Well, will we have grass? Will we have that? Well, one of the things I was going to talk to you about was, because I have memories of Atlantis, and I'm a hypnotherapist, and I have done past life regressions for people, and they've gone back to Atlantis. So when we do actually ascend, I know from Atlantis, like specifically, I asked the person I was doing the hypnotic regression on, do we have plumbing? Yes, we have plumbing, but it's gravity, all gravity. And I said, well, what, do we have lawnmowers? Do we have grass? And yes, we have grass, but we don't have lawnmowers because the plants are perfectly engineered, or not engineered, they're created by Source to provide us everything we need. So this is an heirloom tomato. I'm going to show you guys, give you guys a recipe for some homemade tomato soup that's very, very simple. But when you use heirloom vegetables, that when we do ascend, that's all, or any heirloom plant. When you use a regular one, you know, that's not heirloom. It's usually genetically modified, so that you can't take the seeds from last year's crop and save them for next year because they're hybrid, they're crossed. You don't know what you're gonna get. Like sometimes, like our zucchini plants, we'll get yellow zucchinis and more squash-looking things because that's some kind of a, whatever we're buying is some kind of a hybrid. So if we try to plant the seeds the next year, we're not going to get actual zucchini. We're going to get something else. But an heirloom plant will drop its seeds, and then the next year you're going to have a lot of little tomato plants, and they're going to all come up because we'll be it's going to be more like, you know, like early summer weather, mid to upper 70s to low 80s. And so we're going to be able to have gardens all the time. I just love summer. Every day there's enough in our garden because, you know, early in the year stuff doesn't ripen, but there's always enough to make a salad or some kind of a dish that we want to have for supper. So heirloom plants are best. When we do ascend, that's all we will be using. I took some quick notes. Let's see. You know, and eventually when we are a fifth density planet, and as the ascension happens, eventually people won't even remember what it used to be like. And so that will be very good, but it's going to take some time to switch all this over. So I just want to look at my notes, see if there's anything. That's pretty much about all I was just going to touch on real quick today, and then I'll start making some more consciousness videos. But today I was going to show you how to make homemade tomato soup that doesn't take very long, and it is delicious. So I'm going to share my recipe with you and show you how to make it. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. It's light from outside coming in. And so what you do is you take, now these are all washed. Oh, something else I did want to show you really quick before I start. So I found this new thing. It's called a Pure Pod. And what you do is, because, you know, like in the wintertime, we have to buy at the grocery store. Obviously, we don't have a garden. I can and stuff, but, you know, we don't have the fresh stuff. So the stuff you buy from a grocery store is, you know, it's sometimes not organic. It's covered with pesticides. This, you put it in water, you submerge it, you push this button, it turns green. And it kind of almost steams the vegetables and fruits. So I was shocked when I put it in some potatoes, the stuff that came out of them. I will never eat another potato again, not my favorite food anyways, unless I have these. And like cabbage from our garden and stuff, it just cleaned it out really nicely. I don't buy too much at the grocery store in the summertime. So that's called a Pure Pod, and it will help clean your food. So the first thing I'm going to do, you don't have to skin these like you do if you're canning, but I'm going to cut the top off. And there's another plane going over. We live by a little tiny airport that's a flight school. So you're just going to cut this into chunks, little pieces. And we do not have all heirloom in our garden, but the majority actually are this year. We were kind of new to heirloom plants the last couple years. I've always eaten them, but we've never grown them. So one of the things you can do if you live in a state that freezes over the winter, these I don't think are going to fall into the ground and give you new tomato plants. But what you can do is just take a slice, take a pot of dirt, and dig down a little bit and just cover this and put it in a cool, dark place over the winter. And springtime comes, maybe March, late February, you're going to have tons of little tomato plants. So you can do that. I did it one year, but the plants came up real spindly, and I'm going to have to research a little bit how to make them so that they have thicker stems and stuff. Okay, so for this recipe, you are going to want 2 cups of cut up tomatoes. This is my favorite tomato knife. I bought it at a farmer's market a couple years ago. It works really great. So you're going to want, and I'm cutting the little imperfections off of them and the middle part. So you're going to cut these up. You want 2 cups. And I'm sure this isn't quite 2 cups, so let me see. I only have 1 heirloom right now that's ripe enough, and so I might have to use a little bit of a regular tomato. And heirlooms, they come in all different colors: purple, yellow, orange, kind of a pink. This one's got a little bit more of a pinkish red, as you can see, than what you're probably used to. Okay, so that is a little over a cup. So I'm going to take one of these regular tomatoes. I want to see which one is riper. Probably this one. And again, I'm going to cut out the core. Okay, so I'm going to slice it up. Last year, if you haven't seen it, I did make a video on how to make fresh tomatoes or tomato spaghetti sauce with fresh tomatoes. And so if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It's a lot of work, but it's well worth the time and effort, and that recipe is really good. Okay, so we're just getting these cut up. Okay. Yep, it looks like it's going to be just 2 cups, maybe a little bit over, and that's okay. Okay, so we got our 2 cups of sliced up tomatoes. Let me get the garbage out of the way here. Okay, and then you're going to want some onion. This is from my farmer's market. Our onions are not done yet. And I'm really lucky. I have a lady at my farmer's market who has all heirloom, all organic plants, and her prices are really reasonable. So I go there every week and supplement, because I make a lot of spaghetti sauce for the kids and stuff. I make salsas too and ferments. I am going to come on and show you how to make at least one kind of ferment. That's really easy, because the probiotics in there you really need for your gut health. And as I was saying, for consciousness, you really need to take care of your nutritional status and your gut health. So you are going to want, it says 1 tablespoon chopped onion is the recipe. I actually use about 2. So if you use one of these things, I can't remember what they're called, like a bandolette or something, be careful because you can slice off the top of your finger very easily. Okay, so, but I like it because it makes my slices so thin. Okay, oh, and that's a really strong onion because it's making my eyes water a lot. I'm glad my eyes aren't on camera right now. Okay. And you want them really small little pieces. Piece of the onion skin. And I'm just going to grab my tablespoon just to kind of get an idea how much I have there. Okay. Yeah, that's about 2 tablespoons. Doesn't have to be exact. So I got my onions. 2 cups, 2 tablespoons of that. Then I've already mixed this. This is, I'll tell you. So 2 tablespoons of onion, 2 cups of butter. 2 cups of tomatoes. Butter is in this. You're going to saute your onion in 3 tablespoons of butter. Once you've done that, you're going to stir in. I've got it in here. I've got 3 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and I use the Redmond's salt. It's a natural mineral salt. I think I talked about this in the spaghetti video, spaghetti sauce. But if you use it, you're going to notice it. Actually, I want to show it to you. You're going to notice a difference. Most of our salt is so refined, it doesn't have the minerals in it. This one does. It is really good. So I would suggest you use this. When you use it, though, you're going to notice, I noticed that it tasted just like I used to remember what salt tasted like at the movie theaters. Really, really good. And so that's what this one does taste like. It's delicious. So anyways, back to this. 3 tablespoons of salt, 3 tablespoons flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. And this recipe actually calls for 2 teaspoons of sugar. I do not use that. I use stevia, and I use this kind. And for 2 teaspoons, there's a little tiny spoon in here. 2 of these little tiny spoons would be equivalent to about a teaspoon of sugar. So I've got 2 of those little spoons of stevia, my salt, my pepper, and my flour in here. I'm going to take 3 tablespoons, or is it 3 teaspoons? 3 tablespoons of flour. Butter, I mean. So I'm going to cut this here. And, oops, should be a little more on that side. So now I'm going to have to move this so I can show you how it goes on the stove. So when I make it, so I'm going to move my computer over here. I'll show you how to make it real quick. Let's see. Okay, that works. You can actually see it. And I think I'll put my light back here. Okay, I'm just grabbing milk because you do need milk for this. I've got organic cow's milk. However, you can use almond milk or soy milk or something, but it's really going to alter the taste. And I have tried the soy milk with it, and I did not like it. Okay, so let me get my stuff over here. So first thing I'm going to do is melt my butter. I always use natural, butter, plain butter. I don't ever use margarine. It's one molecule away from plastic. I suppose you could use olive oil or something, but I do not like the taste of olive oil. If I ever use olive oil, I'll use half of what I'm supposed to use of olive oil, and then I will use half avocado oil because I just don't like that strong taste of olive oil. So I'm going to melt my butter. Yeah, I got to turn it down like that so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm melting the butter. And I'm going to take my 2 tablespoons of onion and saute them just till you're getting a strong odor of onion. You don't want it real done, but just so that you can really get some of the flavors released. So once I have that done, I'm going to take my flour, stevia, salt and pepper mixture, and I'm going to stir it in. If you've ever made a white sauce, it's basically the same thing except it's got onion in it. So you stir that in until it's smooth and bubbly. Then you're going to add your tomatoes. And you're supposed to remove it from the heat to do that. So I'm going to turn it off. And I'm just going to kind of stir this in slowly. Once you've got it all mixed in, you're going to turn the heat back on. And what you want to do is bring this mixture to a boil and let it boil for about 1 minute to get the flavors kind of released. This is super easy. You can make it with 2 tomatoes and a little bit of onion and stuff you have at home. And as you can see, it's not taking very long. Turn the heat up a little bit to get it going. And you have to stay with it and stir it because you don't want it burning or scorching. Now it's starting to boil, so I'll just watch the time for a minute. Let it cook. Okay. Turn that down a little bit. Okay, so the recipe actually calls for an equal portion of milk. So 2 cups of tomatoes and 2 cups of milk. However, I like it a little thicker, so I'm only going to use 1.5 cups. So I got to put that down for it. And you can do this to taste too with the amount of onions and seasoning that you use. But the one I gave you was what I like the best. So there's 1 cup. And then after you cook it, it's going to thicken up a little bit because now it's pretty thin. So we're going to let that cook. And I'm going to get my other 1/2 cup. Okay. And we're going to add that. Just going to let it cook a little while. Basically what you have to do at this point is just let it heat through. But I'm letting it also thicken up a little bit. And in the comments, I'm going to write down the full recipe. So while I'm waiting, I'm still doing hypnotherapy, energy readings, healing, sound healing, Reiki, past life regressions, just basic healing work, shadow work, inner child work, if you don't know how to do that for yourself. Because those are all things we need to do for the ascension of the planet and ourselves. The other thing is, too, you have to, if you've got inspiration coming in of what you should be doing or what you want to be doing, what your life purpose is, you have to take a physical action to get it to manifest. So just thinking about it and meditating on it is not going to do it completely. Well, actually, probably not at all. So you'll get the ideas, but you won't get anything done. Okay, so I'm just waiting for this to heat through. Oh, it smells so good. It's just taking a minute to heat through. I know this sounds like a really simple recipe, like it wouldn't be that good, but I'm telling you, this is the best tomato soup. I love it. It's the best I've ever had. Okay, so 1 second. I'm going to pour this in a clear bowl so you can see it. And I've got one right here. Now, obviously, I'm not going to eat all this. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. And I will have this for probably lunch later today. So, here it is. It's delicious with garlic or cheese, garlic cheese croutons. You can make them yourself out of gluten-free bread. That's what I do usually. But this is delicious. It's probably about 4 servings altogether. So I'm going to let that cool, then I'm going to cover it and put it in the fridge. So that being said, I will be back to make more consciousness videos and sound videos. My world is just a little busy right now, especially with all the fun garden stuff I have to take care of. I love you all. Have a blessed day. If you have anything that you'd like covered in upcoming videos, please leave them in the comment section. And again, my website is www.embody-light.com. Bye-bye.